not talking into this microphone to you, because you here on Instagram are just getting whatever's coming through on the phone, but I am here on Zoom and on YouTube Live. But I welcome you also here on Instagram. If you're just scrolling through, want to hang out for a little bit, I welcome that. And I'm going to let folks arrive and continue to let myself arrive. Similar to this moment we're in collectively with this election, it always seems to feel this way. The scramble, the sprint, this frantic race to the finish line. Also feeling that in just getting here and getting settled. So I invite you to do the same. I've got a little pot of tea here and my cozy sweater, and invite you to be sweet to yourself in whatever way that looks tonight. I notice for me, the reason I'm here, the reason I'm doing this, was noticing this afternoon an unsettledness that's not totally new, but felt heightened around this collective holding of our breath before tomorrow. And I don't want to say too much about politics. My purpose here is to create a space for us to sing and to process, so I'm also not going to not say anything. But there's so much to say that, of course, there's, no matter whether you're convinced that this is a moment to break outside of the two-party system because the Democratic Party has shown its true colors in its ongoing and appalling and unconscionable support of this genocide for over a year now. It's not new. People who've been working on this particular issue or militarism at large have known for a long time that both parties are deeply embedded with a military-industrial complex. And yet it's also a time where the people who live 100 feet from me have a huge "Take America Back Again" sign that's hanging from a 10-foot-high skeleton. Just walked by it today. In a time where that actually could mean, if they overhear me singing my Hebrew prayers, which I'm wont to do every day when I'm listening, often, that flag, that name, that slogan has come to mean, without too much veiledness, at least gestures to, if not full-on commitments to neo-Nazism that literally killed my ancestors. So there are differences here, as shitty as they feel. So I've run out of words, and for me, when I feel the overwhelm and it's like, wow, so many things are true and I don't know how to be with it, song and poetry and beauty and community is what gets me through. So I'm going to stop looking down here on Instagram, but I'm glad you're here as you're dipping in and out, and feel welcome to join me. I posted on Facebook. I don't think I posted a link on my Instagram, but it's just youtube.com/Joshua H. Blaine. And that's where you can get probably a better sound quality anyway. Yeah, collective breath. I'm imagining that we're gathering in a circle together in a room, because this is really what I need when this is coming up. This is what nourishes me. And since I actually am just alone right now in my home space, I'm reaching through the intergalactic webs to create a virtual circle, wondering if maybe one or a few of you out there might also be appreciative of place to be tender and create some beauty and be with some beauty and feel some of the rage and the terror and the grief. So welcome as you are, and feel free to lie on your floor or sing along. I'll be singing songs that have been on my heart these days, helping me carry through This one's called We've Got to Love One Another into the Movement. We've got to love. We've got to love. We've got to love one another into the movement. Because we can't organize those don't see with love in eyes. No, we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. So we've got to love. We've got to love. We've got to love one another into the movement. Because we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. No, we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. So we've got to love, we've got to love, we've got to love, we've got to love, we've got to love one another into the movement. Because we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. No, we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. We've got to love, we've got to love. 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 We've got to love, we've got to love one another into the movement. That song came from a download of Elder Movement Wisdom from Paul Kivel a couple years ago. And that was his take-home message. It's sort of like we just spent an hour and a half dissecting really complicated and nuanced and historically dense topics like Christian hegemony and anti-Semitism. This was in 2021 or 2022. And then at the very end, he's like, you know what it all comes down to? You just gotta love one another. You can't organize people that you don't love. Oh, sweet to see some names popping up. You can't organize people that you don't love. I've been learning recently it goes the other way too. It's hard to love people you don't organize, which is to say, the people that I love, I tend to also really want to organize them into our collective action. And those are the best people to organize because we know what they love, we know what they're good at. And it's so much more fun to organize, to make moves for more collective freedom with our friends. So, yeah, it's nice to see some friends on here. This is exactly why I'm here. Thank you. It's been a lot. Gosh, it's been so much. And And fire has been keeping me warm, literally. And songs and poems have been keeping me warm spiritually. Feel free to put any requests here, but I'm going to follow my general flow and just keep sharing some songs that have been nourishing to me. But I encourage you to pull up a crazy creek or blanket and sit by the fire here for as long as you've got to hang out. Because the only way we get there is together. So I'm going to do a medley that was done unbeknownst to me or the other songster, the author of the other song that's going to be woven into this medley, T. Martin. Neither of us knew that Sharon and Pauline and others of the Cultural Survival Project, gosh, it's very cool. I should put a link to it on my link tree. I forget what they're calling it. Project Survival. Cultural artists doing really good and necessary research about how we're surviving, how art is helping us in different movements, how art is the movement in some cases. So they took these two songs and mashed them together, and it was so good. So I'm doing it now for you. That last song wants to be sung just a little bit more, I'm noticing. Oh, it's so good to see familiar faces here. Thanks, y'all. Feels good. Let's sing this last one more time. We've got too low, we've got too low, we've got too low, we've got too low, we've got too low one another into the movement. Because we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. No, we can't. No, we can't organize those we don't see with love in eyes. Alright, here comes the next song of this medley. We get there together or never get there at all. Let's see if we can find a mellow start to it, because it's actually pretty upbeat. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting, let's see, I'm gonna find it here. It's somewhere hiding. I had it earlier. I think it's right here. No one is getting left behind this time. No, 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 no one is getting left behind. Not this time. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. Get there together and never get there at all. We get there together and never get there at all. We get there together. We get there together and never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No, 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 no one is getting left behind. Not this time. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together and never get there at all. We get there together and never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. Get there together, never get there at all. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. We are born from the water. We are made from the land. Oh, teach us, oh great mother, to bring peace to this land. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. Not this time. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. Both of those songs were written with so many moments and movements for justice and collective liberation, but they both share that one of them was very much at front of mind and heart, which was and is the liberation for Palestinian lives and dignity and freedom and sovereignty. We Get There Together or Never Get There at All is a song that came through me in reference to texts that reject the notion that the path to safety is through force. But specifically, this song is about not letting anyone drown in the sea of reeds this time, or not leaving anybody behind to be picked off by Amalek. Amalek being a metaphor, a symbol of that in which inside of us forgets, that leaves others behind, that leaves parts of ourselves behind. Anyway, that was written with our siblings in Palestine years ago in mind. And May This Body Be a Bridge, written even a few years before that, inspired by the words of one of T's friends, Saeed, who, as they were coming up to Standing Rock, this was back in the fall of 2016, to be present, to contribute, to support, to help, Saeed said it reminded him of the border walls and the militarized crossings and checkpoints and overall vibe of Palestine, of the West Bank, of Gaza. I believe it was specifically the West Bank, so Gaza being even worse, even more intense in many ways. And this was back in 2016. Anyway, both of these songs, important and a part of that. And I just want to acknowledge for all of us that part of what's so wrenching about this moment, and part of where I'm turning to song to try to help hold it, is the uncertainty of what's ahead generally. There are so many layers of the current crises. It's hard to keep track of all of them. And there are avenues for, there are better or worse paths. There are some things that if we can avoid or if we can pull off, give us a slightly better chance of surviving. I mean, literally and maybe figuratively, of really getting through these rising tides, rising waters, literally and figuratively. And I am fully in the camp that there is no scenario where I think we're better off if Trump is in office. And I don't deny Kamala as a puppet of the military-industrial complex. That is not at all news or surprising. And I'd rather not have to worry about a neo-nationalist Trumpism taking over the country, because he's got the biggest mic in the world and fanning the flames of what we know is still there, rampant sexism and misogyny, not to mention racism, and yes, anti-Semitism, the kind that I will speak out about and that I am terrified of. Not the kind that the ADL and so many other nefarious in their well, in many ways, their wicked ways. I will just call a spade a spade. These are the words of our prophets. But one of those aspects being Gewalt, where have I gone? Got lost on my soapbox. Beware the military-industrial complex. So anyway, I was trying to acknowledge that there are people for whom Trump is clearly somehow representing their values, and it's a big swath of our country, including neighbors of mine. And some of those people are wonderful and lovely, and some of them are dangerous and volatile and hateful, just like Trump himself. So it's a scary thought to put them in power, and also perhaps regardless of who you voted for or what you think, it seems quite likely that we're going to be confronted with an immense amount of ruckus about theft, whether it's whoever wins, Kamala. Well, if Kamala wins, let's say, there will be a lot of challenge to that. And if Trump wins, it might be by theft, including gerrymandering, which has been a Republican tactic for so long. Anyway, I'm going on. The point here is to slow down. It's just too much. Can't say it all. And right now I find if you say something, you don't say something else, then you alienate somebody or push somebody away. It's just too much. Too much. I love my soapbox. Thanks, Jane. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I've been in some acknowledgement space. I did want to offer us some gratitude and grounding as we opened, and I just went right into song, which is great. But part of the acknowledgement is that when I step into gratitude, like, oh, I'm grateful to have a roof over my head, to have good, warm food, it takes me right to the grief and the disoriented rage about the injustice of the world. Because part of what so many of us are screaming about to try to shift quickly and immediately and in our day is the reality that so many people don't have that. So many people don't have safety, don't have clean water. So it becomes a source of grief to be grateful, which, yeah, they are siblings. I think Martin Prechtel said they are both renting from the landlord of love, grief and praise. Love is the master, love is the landlord of the house that grief and praise both rent a room from. God bless the mystics and the wise ones and the poets. Okay, let's keep singing. Wow, I've sung all the songs that I thought out, like that I wrote down. So that means we're in uncharted territory. This is fun. Thanks for you folks on Instagram. So far, nobody's jumped in the Zoom room yet. If you want to come hang out in the Zoom room, you don't have to be on video, but you can put things in the chat or smile at me for a moment. You're welcome to. You would find my post on Facebook. I posted the Zoom link there. But you're great right where you are. I told myself if even one person watches, then I will keep going. So thank you for being that person if it's you. Let's see, what song wants to come through? I'm finding I'm needing so much tenderness right now. So much tenderness. song will say it all. I still don't know what song can hold it all. I still don't know which song can hold it all. I still don't know which prayer can hold it all. I still don't know which prayer. I still don't know which prayer can hold it all. I still don't know which prayer. Sing along, whatever you got, oh sing along. You still don't know. I still don't know which medicine will heal it all. I still don't know which medicine. I still don't know which medicine will heal it all. I still don't know which medicine. What else are we turning to? I still don't know which love will hold it all. I still don't know which love. I still don't know which love can hold it all. Hold it all. Still don't know which love. I still don't know which song can hold it all. I still don't know which song. I still don't know which song can hold it all. I still don't know which song can hold it all. I still don't know which prayer can pray it all. I still don't know which prayer. I still don't know which prayer can pray it all. I still don't know which prayer. I still don't know. 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 But you know you never can pray enough. No, you never can pray enough. Oh, you never can pray enough. Oh, you never can pray enough. You never can pray enough. Never can pray enough. Never can pray enough. Never can pray enough. You never can pray enough. Never can pray enough. Never can pray enough. Never can pray enough. You never can pray enough. You never can pray enough. You never can pray enough. But don't you know you can't pray Niebuhr's line that I have written here above my desk. You never can pray enough. I love that line, which could come from and perhaps be found in different ways from rabbis throughout the ages, but comes from the great teachers of music. Oliver Wood and Chris Wood. Good to see more folks popping in. Curious what's on your heart. I've got grief and overwhelm written down. I've got rage, all caps. Fear, all caps. Helplessness. There's also gratitude on here, and what in Hebrew is called hakarat hatov. It's a practice that comes from the Musar tradition. Yeah, all of that. All of that and more. All for the low, low price of $57.85. Good points. Hakarat hatov, noticing what is good, what's nourishing, what's going well. And the practice is naming them. And it's really annoying practice sometimes. If I'm in a sour mood, if I'm kind of grumpy and I want to be grumpy and I want people to know I'm grumpy, then being asked either by my practice or by a chavruta or a teacher or a moment to speak out loud or write down something that is going well, something that's good, a good point, a good part, a good moment. It usually helps melt whatever is frozen in me, but it can be annoying. And other times it's like just exactly the perfect invitation. So just, inviting that for you wherever that feels good. One of my favorite teachings from Musar is that it's not about cultivating the thing or not. It's a very much a middle way, a middle path kind of discipline. You can have too much hakarat hatov. You can have too much good. You can have too much naming of the good. I would say that's probably like spiritual bypassing kind of energy. If you're just constantly pointing out the good and there isn't room for acknowledging what's not working, that is an out of balance practice of gratitude. That's also part of Musar. For me, as for all of you astronerds out there, I'll say as a Mars and Venus conjunct in Virgo kind of lad over here, it can be hard for me to find the good points. I'm very good at finding the things that aren't going quite the way they should, which has its use cases. All that is to say, hakarat hatov, but grief, overwhelm, rage, fear, helplessness. I'm going to be pilgrimaging to the poles tomorrow. My response to helplessness, my response to violence is waging nonviolence. This is some of the prophetic teaching of my beloved teacher, Rabbi Lynn Gottlieb, and specifically her teacher, Reverend James Lawson of blessed memory, was one of her teachers and a teacher to many in nonviolent tactics of waging, and this was his term, of waging nonviolence, of meeting the violence of militarism and the discipline of a militarized opposition, of applying that kind of discipline, that kind of commitment, that kind of intensity to standing for peace, to standing for justice, to fighting for a world that is a nonviolent one, as a spiritual practice, as a discipline. One of the key technologies, and perhaps like the cornerstone or the keystone of this Shomer Shalom lineage that I'm a student of, is pilgrimage. So at this moment where I feel its bigness, where I feel the overwhelm, the astrology is talking about it, the Jewish calendar, the anniversaries, this election, all of it, I go to where I have the most strength, or I go to what's foundational. I come back to what I know, to what's solid, to what is essence. And a core teaching of my path, of this path that I'm on, is pilgrimage. So I'm going to be making a pilgrimage to the poles. It is both more of an undertaking and less of one than perhaps you think from the sound of it. Just so happens that my polling station is just two houses down. But pilgrimage is, if nothing else, uh, while embodied and literal in its geographic movement, that's an important part of pilgrimage, is that we're actually moving from point A to point B. It's also, in addition to physical movement, it's a deep ceremony, kind of an embodied, ongoing ceremony. So I'll be holding pilgrimage vibes. It's already it's already started. I've been holding the prayer for what this pilgrimage will be tomorrow. And I'm inviting you. I'm inviting you. Two houses. I know, isn't that wild, Jane? It's at the rec center, just on the other side of this neighbor. If you were here earlier, I talked about a 10-foot tall skeleton. Maybe you've seen them. That is in the driveway of my neighbor, and the skeleton is holding, get this, a huge, like 5 foot by 5 foot Trump 2024 banner. This is new this week. They've been escalating, and now there's a huge, like Halloween skeleton holding a Trump 2024 banner that has the slogan, "Take America Back." So here I am as part of my pilgrimage. I'm going to be start on this land here in this, what I call the whale, or the whaley, the Great Whaley, my hamakom, my hearth, my home. Walk this land, which we call hamakom, that I share with the beloved, that means the place, which is a name for the divine. And spiral, I'm going to walk land 3 or 7 times, we'll see. And then I'm going to take the pilgrimage those two houses down, but I have to pass this giant skeleton that is holding this Trump banner, and I have to hold the reality that no matter who I know who they're voting for, no matter who I vote for, no matter who wins or what happens, we will continue to be neighbors. So I'm going to be walking with how to do that, both strategically to keep me and my beloved safe, both of us in our own ways, in different ways, survivors of different violences, including state violence. How are we going to handle this? If they win, if the Trump campaign wins and it fans flames of sort of alt-right militia, are we suddenly needing to track our physical safety because our neighbors are going to be marching down the street? More likely, and something I'm already tracking, is that when I'm outside around the fire, not cooped up in my space here, but as I often do, and I'm singing Kol HaNeshama or the Shema or any other Yiddishkeit, Nigunim, or Hebrew prayers, what does it mean for Trumpism to once again be the zeitgeist and the law of the land that can mean implicitly and explicitly targeting people who are carrying this lineage? So it's right alongside the fact that the genocide of the Palestinians continues, and the reason that I am committed to being a voice for their freedom is because it's so complicated. And a voice like mine that comes from the lineage of the Shoah, of our catastrophe, 6 million, like so many lineages. Rabbi Lynn Gottlieb was sharing recently that there were over 1,000 synagogues in Europe before the Nazi takeover. In World War II, there were 1,000 synagogues that were painted exquisitely, like floor to ceiling, gorgeous, that were completely destroyed. And there's literally like a few shards. That is an ethnic cleansing and genocide, and that is also what is happening to the people in Gaza. It's perhaps easier for us to see because it's so clear, it's so fresh, it's so directly. It's just the words. We've run out of words. So let's go back to some song, huh? Can't tell, is the skeleton like a Harris household thing? I don't know. I just see the skeletons around. I just thought it was absurd. This massive skeleton. It looked sort of like a magical surrealist scene. Yeah, I find that flag and that sign, especially when it has a slogan like "Take America Back," to be ominous, scary. Again, I have experiences from his first presidency where I was wearing a yarmulke often, and I felt really unsafe in a lot of contexts in which I was explicitly in Trumpist Confederate spaces. It was real, and I partially did that because I wanted to be in deeper solidarity with my siblings of color. In this was 2017, 2018, because this has been the reality forever, and these more marginalized folks are also more in danger in a Trump presidency. So I reject the notion that nothing is different, that it can't get worse. We know that things can get worse. And we know that Kamala Harris is in the pockets of corporatism, as is every politician, save a couple. Now, there is a joint resolution of disapproval that the Senate is going to be voting on next week, I believe. And I invite you, I implore you, I encourage you to call your senators. The other thing to remember here is the president is one of many rungs of political power to be focused on, and our representatives in the Senate and the House, we actually have a lot more pressure on. There's only 2 reps in the state of Rhode Island, but up where I was born and raised, there's 1 rep who kind of oversees, I don't know, probably, I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but maybe 50 or 80,000 people, but in like a really kind of small geographic area. That's a real point of leverage. You can organize 5,000, 6,000 people. I mean, it's a lot harder than it sounds, but it's a lot easier than organizing millions, which is what it takes to win a presidential ticket in Empire. So vote Jill Stein if you can't bring yourself to vote for Harris, and I salute you. But if you're in a swing state, then I encourage you to think strategically about who our opponent is, because with Trump in office, say goodbye to any change in what's happening. He's going to give Netanyahu a blank check. He's going to fan the flames. Not to mention all the stuff around our like closing and perhaps already closed window around climate catastrophe. Say goodbye to any semblance of meeting any kind of climate marks. The other thing I'll say is, how can I, and I'll use the first person here, how can I be accountable to what I'm saying now on November 8th and 11th and 15th, and December 6th, just afterwards, after the election? What are we doing to continue organizing, to make that third party, to break the grip of corporatism? I mean, it's so cruel. This is what we're all being sort of horrifically shown in plain view with what's happening in Gaza. And the thing that's so heartbreaking and horrifying and unjust is that us Jews are being put up as the reason. It's just another form of anti-Semitism, actually. We are being scapegoated. They're saying this is for the sake of Jewish safety. You want Jews to be safe, right? Remember what happened to them in World War II? It's very nefarious and sneaky that our safety is being leveraged to justify horror. It's not fair. And so many of us say not in our name, and it's not enough yet. So if you're on the fence and you've been unsure, if you want to talk through your hesitations, if you've really had a hard time showing up to protests for any number of reasons, I would be glad to talk. For one, protests aren't the only way to engage. And 2, you might need to find the right group of people to protest with, to organize with, because different groups have different energies and commitments. Last thing I'll say before one closing song here. Somebody's bringing in Swap Your Vote. Yes, please. Thank you. I've been promoting that. Seems like a good way for us to try to hold paradox. Last thing I'll say is, I already talked about the joint resolution for disapproval. Oh, there was one other thing, and then I got distracted. Well, pilgrimage with me tomorrow. If you want a pilgrimage to your polling station, whatever that means, maybe you want to walk 10 miles and connect with people along the way, or maybe you just want to hold a prayerful space for yourself as you go to the polls, or maybe you want to help some new teenage young voter, somebody in college that's a friend of yours or a student of yours or family member of yours, help them get to the polls. We know that when more people turn out, justice tends to win out. So So, good. It is good. Hine matovu manayim. Hine matovu manayim. Hine matovu manayim. Behold, behold, how good. Behold, behold, how good. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Oh, how good and necessary it is to be in the company of each other. Oh, hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achayot gam yachad. We are all one. Our heart will keep beating, and that's the drum that we'll keep marching to. Some beautiful words from a comrade here. Our hearts will keep beating, and that's the drum we'll keep marching to. 'Cause as long as we're alive, we are obligated to try. 'Cause as long as we are alive, we are obligated to try. But don't worry, it's not ours to finish. No, don't worry, we can't do it all. No, don't worry, you're not alone. Beyado afkid ruchi, beyado afkid ruchi, beyado afkid ruchi. In the hand of Hashem, in the palm of living presence, I place my soul. Beyado afkid ruchi. Some liturgy from the night prayer that we say as we get ready to travel to the realms of the unseen, as our soul prepares to float off into the higher levels and layers of soul of consciousness, into the superhighway of oversouls. Beyado afkid ruchi, in the palm of Hashem, in the palm of the mystery, I place, I surrender, I entrust my spirit. V'yali, because life is with me, v'lo yara, so I'm not going to be afraid, because I'm on the side of life. Yali, v'lo yara, 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 are. Oh God, wherever you are, please slow us down. Oh, please slow us down. Please slow us down. Oh God, wherever you are. Oh God, wherever you are. Oh God, wherever you are. Please slow us down. Oh God, wherever you are. Oh God, wherever you are. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad to hear that this hit the spot, that it's helping you stay on it. Let us all find the rope or the oar, or the core, or the care, or the song, or the spreadsheet that we are meant to tend and contribute. 'Cause it's gonna take all of us. 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 All of us and none of us. All of us and none of us. Alright, y'all. I can feel myself wandering off into La La Land, getting towards sleepland, and maybe you are too. So just a little melody, or sorry, lullaby melody to bid you on your way. A favorite of mine that I was singing to my 100-day-old nephew just yesterday. A classic that I first learned from Rise Up Singing, that goes like Irene, good night. Irene, good night. There it is. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Foxes sleep in the forest. Rabbits sleep in their dens. Whales sleep in the ocean, and pigs sleep in their pens. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. This is a very sad song. Some of these verses were written so it can be a kid's song, but it's actually a lament. I love Irene, God knows I do. I'll love her till the seas run dry. But if Irene turns her back on me, I'll take morphine and die. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump into the river and drown. Oh, everyone, good night. Everyone, good night. Good night, all of you. Sorry to little hollow boy. Just joined. I'm just jumping off. If you're curious what I was up to, go find me on the YouTube live stream recording. Everybody, thanks for joining. I needed this. I feel better. If we were in a collective space, I would invite us all to yell, I feel better! Because it works. It does feel better even still when you get to yell it. So many things to yell about and cry about and sing about. I imagine I'll be doing some of that tomorrow on my pilgrimage. Tune in. Form your own pilgrimage to the poles tomorrow, and may we move towards the long and loving arc of justice rather than fascism. May it be so. Oh, I stopped the Instagram, but not the YouTube. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining.